See?
Just trying to. Anyway, I'm trying to be fair.
Right,
Are we
right,
level?
right.
Are we
Yeah,
level?
we're level.
Everything's copacetic.
That's right. Greetings and welcome to this edition of Film Finance. I'm Shirley Singleton and I'm here with,
Anita Michelle.
and today we're going to talk about the anatomy of a stock.
Yes, the anatomy of a stock winner is what I would prefer.
All right, a
Break
stock winner.
down the elements of the winning stock and the components of a stock. So what is it made of? What are all the letters and numbers? I mean, that's what I talk about all day, but I'm going to talk more about letters and numbers. What do stocks mean? So it won't give you an exhaustive list of tickers. That's not what this episode is about. Oh no, nay nay. So what makes up a stock? It's letters, for sure. How many letters is it typically?
So you're talking about like a stock. so when you say a
Ticker.
stock, yeah, right, yeah, like a stock symbol,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ticker would be the symbol.
right?
Okay, got it. So it's like usually like a few letters or something?
Yeah, letters, numbers.
Right. And that can change for wherever the stock is found on whatever exchange.
Yes.
So that's also interesting. But look for the letters. Sometimes numbers too. The actual ticker versus the company name I've found are sometimes so very different. But where do I find these things?
Sometimes if you go to the company's website, they'll tell you what the ticker is. Or you can also check out other financial websites like Yahoo Finance, and they also will tell you what the symbol is, or whatever exchange you're using.
Search.
Yes, search.
So search by the ticker or the company name. All right, that's foundational and very basic in letters and numbers. So do you want to speak more about the stock exchanges?
Well,
Or pretty much Robinhood says it all?
I mean, some people
Yeah.
are into Robinhood. I
or
mean,
whatever your trading
right,
platform
yeah.
is.
There are a lot of different trading platforms out there
Mhm.
for all different types of trading types. I mean, a lot of people these days will want to trade off of their phones, and Robinhood offers a very good platform for that. They also have like no trading fees,
Yeah,
which
it's
is
great.
a big, bonus.
It is.
But a lot of the older brick and mortar exchanges or companies like Fidelity or Charles Schwab, they've also gone to the no fee and also the fractional share model in like Robinhood, and they do have mobile options as well. With the larger platforms, and also with Robinhood, there's the ability to do options as well.
Yes, absolutely. A lot of options. Anyway, so I remember when I was a kid, Shirley, I don't know where you started off with your exposure to the symbols and the letters of the actual stocks, but I remember being a child and one of our family activities was to every night watch the nightly business news. And so I first learned of the NASDAQ and, different tickers as they would stream across, each episode. And I just remember marveling at how many of them that there actually are to choose from.
I would be dating myself if I told you my first exposure, but I too had had a similar experience with the news.
Yes, I just remember that being, the fun.
First exposure was actually the newspaper. We
I
got the
was
daily
gonna say that.
newspaper.
I was gonna say I remember seeing them in the newspaper, and then you were like, "Oh, I'm dating myself." But don't they still do that?
I don't know because I don't read
And
the
isn't
newspaper.
there still a nightly business report?
There is.
Okay, so we're not dating ourselves anyway. So outside of the company name and where the stock is traded, you want to look for the latest price, obviously. You want to look for the numbers. You want to see if the latest price has increased or decreased. That's pretty, basic. Also look at the day's price trading range. So see where it opened and see where it closed. So you want to look within the last, day.
And you also want to look at the trading range for the year as well so that you know whether or not the daily range is a good price, if it's a bargain or not.
And you can also use that to help you future. So to see if you want to buy into that stock or not. You want to look, as we mentioned, at the opening trade price, like what happened in some after hours kind of trading,
Yeah.
Something may have happened.
All kinds of stuff happening after hours.
Like were lots of trades put in, and then different things at the brokerage level may have changed.
So
overnight.
typically, what I've found in looking at charts of after hours trading and stuff like that, when you have a gap in price from the close of the market to where the market opens, it typically retraces and goes back and hits and covers that gap within a day or so.
Yeah, unless we're talking about some funky meme stocks or whatever.
Exactly.
That's different.
That's
But
completely
in rule of
different.
thumb, yes, completely. So you want to look at the volume of the trade for the day, and also look for the average volume of trade overall for that actual stock.
Right, because you don't want to buy stock that has no volume in trading because there's no liquidity.
You might not be able to sell it.
Right. You'll be
Literally.
stuck with
You'll
it
be
as
stuck with
it
it.
goes down, and further down.
Yeah, but eventually, there will be a buyer eventually.
Right.
I've never had a trade personally that I've tried to sell and I couldn't sell ever. But how valuable is that to look at, Shirley?
The market capitalization is very important because it tells you what grade of stock you're looking at, whether you're looking at micro cap that's below 250 million, or
Right.
if you're looking at like an ultra cap that's above like what 50 billion or something like that.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
remember.
those are different, grades of stock. So that also you also take that into consideration when considering the risk level of what you're of how much you want to risk when you're doing that trade.
Is the grade of the stock like the quality of the stock, basically?
Yes.
And the size,
Right.
respectively? Well, a mixture of both. Some interesting things out there that you can come across, no matter what the size of the trade is, or how new that a stock is performing. But these are rules of thumb for us to go by. In some other episodes, we have gone over some other more complicated metrics, statistics for stocks, like the PE ratio, the price to earnings per share.
Right. The lower the PE, the better.
Right. And how that's tied to the market. You also need to look at, as a component of the stock, the actual dividend amount. So is it paid, what was it paid quarterly per share?
Right. What was the
To its
percentage?
owners. Well,
Yep.
yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. The dividend yield percentage
Yep.
is what you're referring to. So how much money did it drop back into you, which is nice quarterly, can be, and it changes per quarter. So you need to trace that before you buy in. I
Most
find.
definitely. If
Um,
if that's what you're looking for, a dividend stock, then that's part of your investment. That's part of your screening process.
Part of your yield
Yes.
that you're calculating or projecting at least before you purchase, looking at the anatomy of the stock. You want to look at the EPS, the earnings per share, obviously. Yeah, the EPS. Shares outstanding. So what you had mentioned earlier, how many shares are left on the market to actually buy and therefore sell.
Yep.
We talked about beta before, so I like that term. I really do. But the positive follows the market, and the negative inversely follows the market is what you want to look at. So you're looking for a beta as the actual number. And I believe that we're looking at a 1.0 or above would be
A positive
a
beta.
positive beta.
Okay.
So if you're buying into a stock that's not really performing well, it would be more in the negative, more than likely in its beta.
Good to know.
Yeah. Little nuggets. Dropping little nuggets. You want to check out the 1-year chart? You love charts.
Oh yeah, I love charts.
Right. So I like to look at 1 year. I like to look at maybe like half the year through. But looking at it quarterly, I like to do also looking in the past month, the past week, the past day, the past hour sometimes.
It really depends on your trading strategy. So-
what you're entering, when, and for what purpose.
Right. So if you're doing day trading,
Mhm.
you're gonna look at the intraday charts, which are like the 1 minute, 15 minute, 2 hour, 8 hour, 4 hour charts, those types of charts.
That's real time.
And then if you're doing like a swing trade,
Right.
then you want to look at the weekly, the dailies, the
Right.
monthlies, the yearlies, and those will give you those charts will be appropriate for those different strategies.
Because they're long, they're more of a longer hold and
Right.
strategizing. For sure. You want to look at the shape of the line as it's trending upward.
Those
when
are
you're
called
looking
trend.
at the trend lines.
Trend lines.
Exactly. You want to look for buy opportunities. You want to look for capitulation off with its head. I think. What do you think?
So,
The cat.
oh, most definitely. Yeah. So, like with the buying up with the trend line,
Yes.
trend lines mark boundaries in price,
Yes. Nice.
and
I'm taking notes.
and you have, and when it's going up, and it hits resistance,
Mm-hmm.
that's and then when it's going down and it stops, then that's support. So you have, so with trend lines, and you look for support and resistance,
Okay.
and past levels of support and resistance tend to repeat itself.
Right.
So I will be doing a feature on the anatomy of a chart.
Are we talking about a bonus?
Yes, a
We're
bonus
talking about
feature.
an upcoming bonus series?
And
Oh,
I will
wow.
be doing a technical analysis series, so
We just can't get enough.
That's right.
We have to break it down further because there's so much, so many moving parts to trading. It's great.
so if you want to know more about technical analysis, it's coming soon.
You want to look for financial trouble too,
Right.
in these stocks. That's going to be tied more with the negative chart line and beta.
And the news.
And the news, for sure. Which I don't do, but I think it's valuable for performing research.
I do the financial news.
Yes. Yes. So you want to look at the moving average lines too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, the moving average lines are indicators within a chart, or they can't, and so there are different types of moving averages, and I'll be explaining those different indicators.
Yes, the relative strength line. I want to know more about the support and resistance levels that I know that you know more along those lines than I do, so I'm interested in that episode. Bonus. So price and volume are the major indicators of the stock market,
Yes.
I think, so far in this conversation. trending upward, downward, looking at historical data, doing your research into the actual stock, using those different stock market research tools. I'm trying to think, what other tools have we left out other than just search and looking at the actual companies?
There are things called scanners
Okay.
that are on some different financial websites like Yahoo Finance, where you can put in criteria
Nice.
and then it will give you a list of stocks that meet that criteria.
Oh.
I'm just now looking into those myself. That might be something that we might do a feature on in the future.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. So we're looking at the different types of stock charts that you will be telling us much more about. I think that's interesting, which actually will help us more with selecting our stocks. So looking at the line charts, that's the XY kind of axis deal, right? The
Yeah.
candlestick charts, which I know that you can really speak on. Bar charts, figure charts, daily, weekly, monthly charts.
Right.
Yeah.
They're all different kinds of charts.
Yeah, it's a very complicated order. I like to just go with just straight, line. I've been dabbling more with the bars, but I think I need a tutorial myself.
All right.
On more chart options. We all have our strengths. This is not my forte, but it needs to be more so. So, in summary, there are a lot of letters and a lot of numbers, a lot of symbols and a lot of tickers and a lot of things that make up, the different numbers that you find as you are researching each company's stock for purchase. We hope that this episode helps you. We look forward to telling you more about charts, charting, technical analysis, and little mini episodes as bonus.
Well, that's been it for this episode of Fem Finance, and I hope that you join us in the future. And make sure that you like
And subscribe.
and hit the notification button.
Yes, absolutely. You want to know what's coming next.
And
we're
also,
excited.
I'm interested in what you think we should be talking about. So please write that down in the comments.
Absolutely. We appreciate positive and constructive feedback. Until next time,
Bye.
have a good week.
Toodles.
Toodles.